Welcome back to the channel where I provide regular cricket content on interesting topics. Today's video is a bit of a break from the norm, as I wanted to comment on the current Ashes series. Generally speaking, I make videos such as greatest of all time lists and the like, but this Ashes is too good to not comment on. As you can all imagine, I have been glued to the TV or phone trying to watch as much as possible. I was also lucky enough to go to day 2 at Lord's. So with all that in mind, I wanted to give my player ratings so far for the series, almost like a mid-series report card. Starting with England, let's dive in. Zak Crawley, 5 out of 10. Crawley is one of the players I had very little confidence in coming into the series. He did cream the first ball through the covers however, and has made some decent contributions. He has scored 196 runs at an average of 33, looking promising at times, so I give him a 5. Ben Duckett, 7 out of 10. Duckett is an interesting player because I never think he actually looks any good. But then he goes and scores important runs, regularly. He has scored 237 runs at an average of 40, so I give him a 7. Moeen Ali, 4 out of 10. I don't want to be harsh on Mo because he is one of my favourite players. I also love the fact that he came out of Test retirement to help out the side. He has however struggled with the bat and ball, averaging 16 and 56 respectively. Stepping up to bat at number 3 to help Harry Brook was also brave, so he scrapes a 4. Joe Root, 8 out of 10. My standards for Root are generally higher than the rest as he is such a good player. He started the series with a wonderful 100 at Edgbaston, but since then has struggled against Cummins. He's still averaging 46 with the bat and making contributions with the ball, averaging 27 there, so 8 out of 10 is fair. Harry Brook, 6 out of 10. I think Brook is really a star for the future. He strikes the ball so cleanly and has all the shots in his locker. He hasn't been his best this series, scoring 210 runs at 35, but he played a great knock at Headingley, so I am giving him a 6. Jonny Bairstow, 2 out of 10. Dodgy stumpings aside, he has not had the best series. He has dropped 5 important catches by my counting and hasn't really got going with the bat. I am probably in the minority when I say he deserves one more chance, but 141 runs at an average of 24 isn't great. Ben Stokes, 9 out of 10. Stokes is a player which any side in the world would want in their side. Put simply, a run chase is never dead while he is at the crease. His knock at Lord's was spectacular, as was his 80 at Headingley. Has there ever been a player who can just turn it up a gear like he does? So far the skipper is leading from the front with 309 runs at 52. He's even chipped in with some important wickets, bad leg and all. Chris Woakes, 8 out of 10. This isn't hindsight, but I have always rated Woakes. His bowling in English conditions is right up there with anyone in the world. When you add that to his more than handy batting, there is a strong argument to say he should have played from the start. To date he has only played one game, taking 6 wickets and holding his nerve during the run chase. Mark Wood, 9 out of 10. This one I will claim. I always said that Wood should be in the side. I know he has struggled with fitness, but as I understand he was fit for Lord's and still not picked. He just has that X factor of extreme pace which causes problems for any batter in the world. Like Woakes, he has only played the one test but took 7 wickets and made some really handy runs. The bloke is a legend and I just pray he stays fit for the rest of the series. Stuart Broad, 8 out of 10. Anyone who watches the channel will know that I am not the biggest Stuart Broad fan in the world. But with that said, I have to concede that he has been impressive so far this series. He is the leading wicket taker with 16 at an average of 24. He also still seems to have David Warner in his pocket, which is handy also. I am not sure if he'll be able to stay fit for the series, but he has won me over and I want him in the side. Ollie Robinson, 5 out of 10. On the face of it, he hasn't had a bad series so far, what with taking 10 wickets at an average of 28. But those tallies do not tell the full story, as at Lord's and Edgbaston he cleaned up the tail. What bugs me with Robinson is his pace. At times at Lord's he was bowling at 77 miles an hour. That's medium pacer speed. I know he has a good record and there are more than one ways to take wickets, but watching him employing a short ball tactic was borderline embarrassing. He seems to be injured for the next game, which I am sorry to say it isn't a bad thing in my eyes. Jimmy Anderson, 2 out of 10. I am genuinely a die-hard Jimmy fan. The control over the seam position which he exhibits is like watching a master at work. But there is no hiding from the fact that he is 41 years old later this month, and time may have caught up with him. In his defense, he bowled well at Lords, particularly in the first innings, but taking 3 wickets at 75 isn't going to cut it. I would understand if he came back into the side at Old Trafford, what with it being his home ground, but equally if he sat out, I don't think there would be protests at the gates. Ollie Pope, 3 out of 10. Pope is annoying to me as an England fan. I think he looks like a very capable player, particularly in full flow. He has a good technique and a decent temperament. But he's still not delivering on a regular basis, and in this series is averaging just 23. He's injured, so may well sit out the rest of the series, not necessarily a bad thing from an Englishman's perspective. Josh Tongue, 7 out of 10. Only playing the one test match against quality opposition, it is hard to judge his long-term potential. What was clear, however, was that he is skilled and was one of the better bowlers on display at Lords. He was unlucky to miss out after that and is probably rivaling Jimmy for the final bowling spot at Old Trafford. That wraps up my mid-series player rankings for England. I will do Australia's over the next couple of days. What do you think? Have I been too harsh on some? Who would be in your side for the Old Trafford game? Are you playing Jimmy Anderson or going with the youngster, Tongue? Whatever the selection decisions, we are in the midst of another brilliant series, and I for one am counting down the hours and minutes until the next game. Thank you all for watching and participating.